Hi guys,
Hello, how are
welcome.
you? Oh, say hi to me.
We can cut that part out.
Okay.
Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to the YogiRise podcast with myself, Jen, and I am so excited to have this guest on with me today because not only is she my bestie, but she is absolutely bossing it in life. And yes, she has got so much wisdom to share. And so I've asked her to be a guest. So, Zoe, hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm
Thanks
well,
for
my
having me
friend.
on.
Thank you for coming on. I've been wanting to do this with Zoe for so long. Zoe's helping me currently in every aspect of social media.
I'm your right hand girl.
You are. You're loving it though, right?
I am.
You are. Okay, so let's jump right in. Zoe,
Okay.
so I actually remember the day when you were saying to us, "Oh, I really want to start a jewelry business. Don't know what to call it. What should I name it? What color should I use?" And now it's just like, what the actual F? You have like 14.5 thousand followers on
I
Instagram.
know it's crazy. And the other day was like 4 years since lockdown, and it was the May after like those first few months of being off work. That's when I was like, guys, I've got a business idea. And Anna
Wait, was
actually
that?
like screenshotted it our chat on WhatsApp and sent me it for like the first year anniversary. And it was literally like me being like, guys, I've got this idea. Like, I'm just gonna roll with it. It doesn't matter. I've got like loads of birthday presents if it doesn't work.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh, I love that. I don't think, was that 4 years ago?
4 years. It's actually
Oh my
nuts.
goodness, that is
Time flies.
nuts. So tell us what kind of inspired, obviously part of that is the fact that you weren't working, you were in COVID, but
Yeah.
what kind of inspired you? What were your initial goals when starting Zo Jewellery?
Um, like I think I always knew I wanted to like run my own business. Like I've always kind of had that in me. I think even friends would know that as well. But I love jewelry, and I was always buying jewelry, like even from like a young age. And I just thought when I was in lockdown, I was reading a book, and the book was just kind of like trying to open up like gateways into like your how to run your own business. It was very like generic, but for me, one of the things in it was how can you turn something you love into a business? So I've still got the notepad actually, and I wrote down like all the things I love, like obviously physical things. For me, I wanted to be a product-based business. Um, and yeah, like that was it. I was like, right, jewelry. And then it was like from that, it was like a little mind map. And I've still got it. It's all written down. I've got the
No.
logo, all the things that I thought, how's this going to work? The three first designs that I ever made, like they're all just, and I'm not the best drawer. Like I can draw over time, but not, I mean, these little sketches are terrible. And yeah, so it just kind of happened like that. I don't even know, like I can't even say I thought much about it because I didn't. Like within a few days, I was already like quite far into like my idea, and it
Yeah,
just came to me, and I was like, I didn't even second guess it. And I feel like that's something that I'm still like that now. Like, don't sit on it for too long.
just
So
take action.
just take action. So as soon as I thought like jewelry, like I love jewelry. Like I know that if I'm wearing it, my friends are wearing it, we're all kind of networking with it. Like there will be a way we can sell it. And like I didn't have loads of followers. Like all my followers on Instagram are just like friends and friends of friends. Like I'm quite a private person in a lot of ways. So
Mm.
I wasn't even like second guessing how like the social media side of it was gonna go either. Like I admired the person I was in those moments because I don't feel like that every day. Like every day's different, you know. But
And
that
so,
in that moment, I was like, I believe this is gonna work. And I remember telling my mum, I was like that, yeah, go for it. She's so like that as well. If you want something, do it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make it. And do you know what I mean? Like that was it. There was nothing else.
I
And I
love
rolled,
that.
4 years later, I'm still like, there's days where I'm like, oh, self-doubt comes in, but like when you find something you love, whether it's a person or whether it's a business or a life change, like I'm literally just that's it. This is what I do now. So it's been a journey. Like I've had massive changes to my life. Like my career has always been. I'm very very career minded, and I always have been. I've worked 6 days since I was 15. Like there was no when the lockdown happened for me, like that was, although I was like, oh, this is so nice being off, I was also like, oh my God, it's like, what will my life be like after lockdown? Is that job really what I was, because there was so many changes within the role that I was in as well. I obviously left and came back, and that in itself, the career I was in, like I loved the company I worked for, and like I honestly have so much to give for who I am in business for that company, but I didn't know how much longer I was going to last in it. So the panic I had was, if I go back, is it what I want? So that was a big drive as well.
Wait, 1 second. We can edit this out. Hold on. Okay, we're back. We're back.
Shut that door in case someone comes in. See, I'm rambling already.
You're not rambling. You're fine. It's really interesting. Right, we need to know where we were there. To what to go back to. You were talking about your mum's very like this.
So yeah, what I was saying was just like in to put into perspective, starting a business, having the drive. The drive came from, am I actually, when I paused for a minute, and I had no choice but to pause, I was kind of like, wait, is this path actually the path I'm going down? Like, do I actually see, is the future within the company I'm in really where I'm going? And I think when I did have that pause, I realized, do you know what, like, this isn't, I think the future of the company I was in was only going to, it was capped essentially. I could only go so far. And also, like, I do have a bit of ADHD, like undiagnosed, like the rest of us, but we're there with it. Like it's definitely there and apparent. And for me, that's been a journey within business because I've been very used to a structure. And that's been a massive change as well within my career because I'm no longer in the structure of having a manager and, having tasks that are outlaid every day. So the journey I'm on right now, 4 years in, is like, right, I don't have anyone. I built it up, but now I don't have anyone going, right, what's next?
Yeah.
So, mentally, that's quite hard. It was all daisies and roses at the beginning because I had all this, right, these are the steps I had to make. But now, I'm 4 years in and it's like, where am I taking it now? So structure for me is quite hard within business.
You're talking about challenges there. Is there any like specific, because building a brand is not easy whatsoever. So like, has there been any challenges that have stood out? Like, and how did you actually like face them head on? How did you tackle them?
I think like I've not actually faced that many challenges. It's more within me because I don't have anyone working for me, and I should have probably taken someone on earlier, but at the same time, I love every part of my brand, like, and I love every part of the creativity, the control of it. And because I had like a year and a half of being at home, working from home, doing it myself, I find that part quite hard. And I think like I would probably benefit if I did kind of let the reins go a little bit. So that for me is a challenge because it's just me. But at the same time, at the minute, I don't really want it any other way. So, and like having someone giving you like tasks or like a team brief, like that little bit, and you know that yourself, like that self-motivation is not always there every morning. So that's a big challenge for me. I wouldn't necessarily say that I have faced challenges where I've maybe like I've not invested in the wrong ways or anything like that. I've been very, very careful with where I spend my money, how I spend my money, and the thought process behind like design, or the thought process behind even like my mailing boxes and things like that. Like I've had like a small hiccup with that where I'd ordered like over 1,000 mailer boxes and didn't. I mean, that, I guess that was a challenge, but I basically ordered these mailer boxes and they didn't arrive the way I wanted them to. And they were like double, like they kind of put like this, I don't know what it is, like it's the way they print them, but they were double printed. So I couldn't even fold them and close them. They were not fit for purpose. And this is where I had to still put them in a mailer bag. And the whole point was to make them, recyclable and like minimal packaging. So that was probably a challenge actually.
But that's more like
Organizing.
your reaction to the challenge. Because I remember where people would say like building a business or being self-employed, it's like a huge personal development journey in itself. And I know you like to read. I know you loved the Jack Canfield book, The Success
Yeah,
Principles.
that's the book I
That the
read.
book?
That's the book I read.
Yeah.
So that
So
very early on the chapters is write down all the things you love. That's basically what I read during lockdown.
and
And
so being that as a tool, you obviously read. Is there any other sort of personal development tools that you use for
um,
yourself to get
for
through?
me, this year started journaling, and I feel like this year itself has been something I could have been doing that for years. Like it's one of these things you hear and you're like, oh yeah, I'll do that. But and it's still in the morning. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it takes to mid-morning and then I'll journal. But that has genuinely like helped me so much with like that self-motivation in the morning, because I don't have like I find that quite hard to stay on track. So whether I'd write in my diary the night before, I'll still get up the next day and by noon I've done my journaling exercise and I genuinely feel like, right, I know what I'm doing and I feel better about myself. So that's probably like one of the things that I definitely do to keep on track.
That's so weird you said that because I had that thought this morning. I was thinking to myself, journaling is the one thing I've always said. I've always been so structured with it. I'm like, okay, if I can't fully journal, then
Yeah,
I'm just not going to do it. Or if there's not any journal prompts, I'm kind of like, I don't really know what to write about, or I end up just writing rubbish. Or
yeah,
I would write things that I thought other people, like if someone was to read it, like, do you know that way it was all so strange? And then I think you and I are using the same thing, aren't we? The Menti
yeah,
journals.
yeah.
And
I
it
love
is
it.
a game changer.
And it's
And it,
short. It's
yeah,
not like a whole sitting all morning doing it. It's like it takes me 5 minutes to just
yeah,
tune in with myself. So that definitely helps me, kickstart my day. And you know, I wasn't doing that before, I guess. But these things obviously come with learning. Um, I love to walk, love to podcast. And I've
mm,
kind of broken up my time. And I think in a lot of ways that's why I started the business as well. Like I've always wanted to have my own time. Like I grew up with my mum who worked for herself. And she was able to do something during the day and like, be a bit more flexible with her timings. And for me, that was such a big thing for me mentally, because I was so not happy with like the structure of my old job, like getting up really early. Like I used to travel. So I was like getting up really early, really bad routines, not having breakfast, living on coffee, getting back to my hotel at like 7 8 at night. Like I was just living for the job. Like, do you know what I mean? Whereas now, yeah, there are struggles, there are challenges with, self motivation. But like I can have my morning to myself. That's such a big
yeah.
thing for me now. Like I work my own hours and yeah, I work at night time, but like I am so motivated at night. And I think again the kind of like the style of my job, that I can be on my phone and do a lot of work things, whether it's like making templates and things like that. So like I tend to like start my day with like myself. It's me, the dog, do my own thing, then I'll go and work, then I'll have the afternoon off, then I'll go back and do some hours at night. And like that flexibility that I have now with my career is just like honestly so, I'm just so happy that I can do that now. That was such a big thing for me in my old job. I was like, I hate this 40-hour week, sitting in traffic. I was never motivated. I never
Do you
got
know
to see
what's
daylight.
What's funny though is like I actually spoke about this in the earlier episodes about like party, like how we used to party. Zoe loved work so much that we would party and then have like an hour's. This is before like when you were doing like the Clarence Angels thing. It was
Yeah.
like way before that. But Zoe, like, I mean, at one point she was like doing waitressing and she was so determined that she was going to work. We're like, Zoe, just phone in sick. She's like,
I'm
no,
like,
I'm
no,
going.
I'm
I'm like,
going.
what? You've had like an hour's sleep. You would smash a
I would
shift
be there,
and then
just so
come
you all know.
back.
My managers, honestly, like when I look back, I'm like, I did get away with a lot. I did. However, I did have a lot of motivation to get to work.
But you had a lot of mental discipline. Like you said, like I'm going. I've said I'm going, so I'm going. Whereas I'd be like, I'm feeling a wee bit.
I know. I know
That's so
that's actually crazy to think back, isn't it?
But yeah, so kind of what I want to touch on a little bit is
Mhm.
I'm so so proud of you. I'm so inspired by you because
Oh, I'm
you
proud of you.
built. Thanks, babes. But you have like you've went from like starting a business, 0 followers, not even a brand, to 14.5 thousand followers, really smashing life, doing all your pop-ups. Like what what kind of do you have any certain strategies that you've used to do that? I know it was all organic, but
Mhm.
like was there any, did you have to teach yourself how to do it, or like what was the
Yeah, like I mean, like I said earlier, I I'm not some sort of like I'm a social butterfly within my circle, but I was never like into social media, all that whole thing. And I've essentially had to become and learn everything about social media. That was obviously like the main thing because we only had social media to advertise. Um so yeah, I think like my strategy was just showing up every day, to be honest, learning
Mm,
everything. I did a lot of courses on social media. That's one thing, like, as well, like I have a lot of people around me like, oh, I want to start a business and like da and like I was still working like when I went back to work. So I've been off for a year or so. I still had to go back to work and travel, especially. And like I had all my jewelry stuff in the back of my car. Like I was asking my manager because I used to get the train and fly, and I was like, I need to drive now. And he was like, oh really? Like, that costs the company money for your petrol. And I was like, no, I need to drive now. Like, I have my business in the back of the car, and luckily I was allowed to do it. They didn't mind because it was not a conflict, but I was like, I need to lug the stuff with me. So, that whole thing as well, like my strategy is like not giving up. Like, if you actually want to have your own business, nothing stands in the way of something you want. Like, and that's something that I do say a lot to people because there are people who make excuses. We all make excuses. I make excuses for the gym. I I'm like, I want to be fit. I want to have a six pack, but nothing is taking me to the gym. I hate it, right? But it's the same with business. Like, this is one thing that I am diehard for, and I know what it feels like. Just like when people know what it feels like when they've lost all that weight at the gym. Like, I feel amazing when I know that like it's working, and you can't give up on your dreams. Like that's something that I've just so yeah, basically was going to work, taking all my stuff, and yeah, that was you can't give up. You have to do the hours, you have to. So strategy wise is not lack of sleep, just like spend more time doing just spend more time doing what you're saying you want to do. Do you
yeah,
know?
just
Like,
take, I think you're very action taking, because like I
yeah,
used
like
to be
take
very,
action.
yeah, like it's all fine making goals and visualizing your future, but until you actually take the action, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. I think like we can all kid ourselves on. I kid myself on. Like I'm like, oh, I'd love to just look like one of those Instagram models, like in comparison. But like actually I feel so good. And it's not about success or monetary value. It's like
Mhm.
I love to be creative. And when I look back, like some of the videos that I used to do are like actual cringe. And I'll probably look back and cringe at the ones I do now. But that's what brings people to the page. Like that's why people like to buy the jewelry because they see me and like they know that I've worked. Like all my followers, I've got so many of them from the beginning as well, and they chime in my DMs, or if I put a milestone up, like they all salute me, and it's so nice.
Oh, I
It's not
love
just a
that.
it's not just a business to me anymore. Like it's there's so much more to it.
Yeah,
Um,
on that note, like you guys do well, you do so many pop-ups, and you've kind of introduced me to the land
yeah,
of pop-ups, and
yeah,
it's amazing how the friendship between all the different business owners, like you guys just all know each other. You were even
yeah.
talking about doing like a night out or a meal out
I
or
know.
something, weren't you?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think back. Like, obviously, we did quite a few of us did like a really big one a couple years back, which kind of just like opens the avenue up for more. And it's so nice, like, because you've got that flip side of like everyone was online, and a majority of the businesses that I work alongside did start in lockdown. And, we've all been online, we've all been in our houses, we've all been buying. And then the flip side of that, it's like we all want an experience. And we find that as well with the consumer, like girls are wanting to like go out and meet up, and the high streets, slightly dying off at times. Like,
Mm.
so the pop-up community is really nice. We all obviously have our businesses in common, we can share. ideas, and like there's room for everyone. Like I always say that as well. Like I work alongside jewelry brands all the time, like, and people that's online as well. Like I've made lovely friends with girls that have got very similar customers, very similar product base, but like we're all just saluting each other, and it's a really positive kind of business to be in, which is great because it's not, I'm sure it's not always like that for everyone, but I'm quite lucky that the businesses that I've met and the people that we support online, like back and forth to each other, like we all just get on really well, and it's really nice.
How do you feel the collaborations like have benefited your business?
You mean like collaborating with
Yeah, other like
other people?
giveaways and yeah,
Giveaways and
things.
stuff, yeah, like giveaways are great. Like I think that's something that you obviously benefits your your mix of followers. And I don't really do giveaways as much anymore. Like even so, like the online for me, I've kind of changed my strategy a little bit. Like way at the beginning, I was using like a lot of influencers and I was gifting and I was really just trying to get like the word out. But now, and it's no offense to the influencers or anything like that, it's just for me, like I don't want people to feel like I would prefer like my real customers to receive a gift than to be gifting influencers or even like paid work. Um, I like to see like real people wearing the jewelry. And yeah, so I think like giveaways and things like that are great, or any sort of national days, obviously kind of jump on those trends with that. The customers just love it. Like they love to tag their friends and like they're so grateful. Like I did a thing the other day on TikTok and I just said like, does anyone receive a PR gift? Obviously, with in return we obviously it's a mutual agreement that they'll share something for me. And like the girls are so sweet. They're like, oh my God, like thank you so much for picking me. Like, do you know, like that is such a nice feeling. And obviously they're doing something for me in return, but like I'd rather give to girls that are trying to like get better at their job. And if they want to be influencers, I'd rather like bring them up than
Oh, yeah.
monetize off of I don't know, I'm not trying to monetize either way, but it's just like it's a nice feeling being able to give back to girls that like love the jewelry in general.
Yeah, because you gift a lot. I mean, there's times we go out for out for dinner and it was you, me, Becky, and Tori, and we were in that what's that restaurant, that tapas restaurant next to George Square? Oh no, it's Anna, not Becky.
Cafe Andalus, was it that
Yeah,
night?
and so we sat down and we were like, "Hi," and then Zoe was like, "I've got gifts," and just started whipping out jewellery. I'm
I
like
was
that.
thinking when we
What?
went to Rebecca Modlin's and I gave you all a gift there. That's what I
I
was
know.
thinking
I
of.
was just like, this is so fun. And then the other
Oh,
day when
like,
I was walking through David Lloyd's, and I was like, "Oh, I really like that for my, is it your tragus, whatever it's called?" And you were
yeah.
like, "Oh, just have it. Just tell people where you get it from." I was like,
Oh.
"Thank you."
Do you know, sometimes I still feel awkward. Like I had to put my prices up recently and I've never done that. Like I've never put my prices up, but like things are getting more expensive.
Yeah,
And it's like I feel bad. I feel bad that like not everyone can afford things. Like, obviously I meet people in person and they're like, oh, that's lovely, but like not everyone can afford
yeah,
like jewelry is obviously a luxury at the end of the day. You can go to H&M and go to the high street and buy even cheaper products.
yeah.
Not everyone cares about like how long it lasts. But yeah, I just always feel bad. I just want
Oh,
everyone to like be included.
you also need to run a business. So tell us, you're obviously you have to keep creating and kind of being fresh in the market, and innovation is such a key way of actually staying ahead in business. Is there a way, like, do you have any innovative approaches? Do you like, how do you feel you differentiate from other jewelry brands, or do you not?
It's a funny one because sometimes like there's so many jewelry brands out there as there are like clothing brands. And I think that my branding and like the fact that I'm on it now, like I've always been on the page, but it is more of me than it is of, like I say earlier, like faces of other people that are well known.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to maintain that because like it's me who wears it. and people come back because they've had an interaction with me a lot of the time, because I'll obviously do like one-to-one direct message conversations, and they know that I'm a small business, and I think like, and I'm not doing anything many other brands are now obviously doing a similar thing. So I can't really even answer that, because like I don't necessarily like, some products I will obviously source and like keep up with the trend, which I'm trying not to do anymore. I want everything to be completely my designs, but obviously that takes time, it takes money, it's only me. So, it's that in itself will come in time. But as I've grown as a business, I've tried to maintain the same style, and I think people kind of remember what my content looks like, and they'll come back to like, oh no, that's Zo Jewellery.
And it's trusted. It's a
Yeah, like
trusted
people trust
brand.
it. Obviously, they've seen it before, but I also don't try to be overly trendy, or I like the girly huggies and the cute little vibes, but I also love a statement earring. And sometimes I had this issue last year actually, where I was thinking about like a kind of rebrand. I was coming up with a rebrand of a collection, but I was just rebranding because my style was almost trying to rebrand. Like I was just kind of going with what I am looking to buy. So that's
Yeah.
where I kind of stick with. It's not necessarily, oh, I've seen someone else doing it, or sharing it. It's more like, right, what am I liking right now? Like if I was a consumer, what was I going out to buy? And I'm very much like that. Like I don't pick things and go, oh, the customers will like that. Like I pick things because I've maybe seen it on a high-end brand and be like, oh, I love that. Like my stock is exactly what I would wear.
Yeah,
I don't
you always start with the consumer. Yeah.
do
Our
like, I
friend,
don't have to follow too much of a trend. I want people to always feel like they can come back no matter what age. That's one of my kind of
yes.
key methods, is like any age group. And I do have any age group buying from me. I go to like different ladies' lunches. There's women in their 60s, and they're purchasing the product. So I don't like to compare or try to keep up too much with a trend. I've tried to maintain the same style.
I think
So
that's a good thing.
yeah,
And even just that one question, what does the consumer want? That's you thinking of them and putting
yeah,
them first as well,
yeah,
as opposed to just trying to match a trend that's on Instagram.
yeah. Like
Okay,
last
so no, carry on,
I
please.
was just going to say, like last year and this year, statement earrings have been quite a large, like it's been quite a popular thing in the community. But, oh wait, Jen, can you just hold on a second?
Yeah, so actually I was going to say, because we can cut that in part, that we're going to run out. So if you just join the other meeting.
Right, okay, there's just been a leakage with my coffee machine.
Right, I'll let you deal with that.
Right, you give me another link.
I've sent it to your phone.
Okay, right, bye.
Okay, bye bye.